Strike 3 You're Dead by Josh Burke. Chapter 2. Entering the armchair announcer contest seemed like it would be easy enough, even though I was grounded from the computer at home. It was my punishment for getting that D in science class. If your parents are doctors and you almost fail science, it looks bad. It's not my fault that Mrs. Rhodes was the meanest teacher ever. All that kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus stuff was impossible. I'm not even sure phylum is a real word. Sounds made up. Computer grounding had been the threat all year. I didn't think they meant it, but they did. I got a D, and so it was a summer long grounding from the PC for me. Harsh. So I used the computer at Other Mike's house and logged on to the Phillies website. He had an awesome computer. It was super fast. You just had to check a box on the site that said you had parental consent. Easy enough. Did any kid ever check? No, my parents aren't letting me do this. I knew I should have asked mom and dad, but I didn't feel like it. Mom and dad weren't exactly baseball fans. Plus, neither of them would have loved the idea of having to drive me into Philadelphia to announce an inning, even if it was my great dream. We lived in a suburb just a few miles outside the city, but they always acted like driving to the ballpark was a trip to the moon. I know. Busy parents, lonely kid. Poor me. Wah, wah. Okay. Other Mike started, getting up from the computer and pacing around like he always did was he was deep in thought. I'm going to ask my mom right away about that shock-mounted condenser microphone. We really shouldn't waste any time. I didn't know what he was talking about. Time was one thing we had. It was a lazy Monday, and there were weeks of summer vacation ahead of us. Every day we biked over to Other Mike's house, being centrally located and all. Mike and I watched baseball. Other Mike read books about warlocks. We played video games. We put in some appearances at the library, and I read a lot of the baseball books. I even read one or two about history. But let's be honest, I wasn't exactly on pace for 200. How did someone actually read 200 books in a summer? I shuddered to think. They probably went blind from eye strain and possibly insane from boredom. They probably lived in an asylum now. The deadline isn't for 3 weeks, Mike said. It'd probably take you about 3 minutes to whip up a video. Well, thank you for recognizing my obvious skills, Other Mike said, breathing on his glasses and cleaning them on his shirt. You go rush off to Best Buy with Mommy, Mike said. Leonard and I are going to be on the lawn couch. Business person special today. Early game, 12:05. But, but, but it's Best Buy, Other Mike said. He didn't seem to understand that baseball games were not to be missed, and he really liked Best Buy. Dude, we have snacks, Mike sang. Best Buy cannot compete with the lawn couch and snacks. Other Mike agreed, reluctantly, and we cruised over to Mike's lawn couch. It was plastic and had an old shoe smell, due to being sort of damp all the time, but it was great. We flipped on the TV, using the waterproof remote control Mike's dad made out of a regular remote and a sandwich baggie, and opened up some cheese balls. The TV was under an overhang, shielded from the rain and in perfect view of the couch. The first thing we saw when the tube flickered to life? The commercial for the armchair announcer contest. You could be in the booth, Buck Foltz's ridiculous hair called to me like a sign from above. The Phil's game was a good one. Famosa made a couple of throwing errors, but got a big double and they won 6-5. Day games are cool, but we weren't quite sure what to do with the evening. But then Mike's dad came out back. As always, he had a bag of snacks in his hand and a big smile on his round face. Also, this time he had something else. A book. Gentlemen, he said, I had to stop in at the library on the way home, so I picked this up off the new bookshelf. Look like something you might enjoy. He was right. Wacky Baseball Lists was the title. Just the kind of book Mike and I loved. The first thing I noticed about the cover was that it included a picture of 1970s Yankees star Oscar Gamble, owner of probably The greatest hair in baseball history. The cover included a collage of other baseball personalities, too. We knew most of them: Barry Bonds, Cal Ripken Jr., Joe Mauer. But there was one guy we didn't recognize. "Hey, who's that?" I asked. It was an ancient picture in the corner of the cover, a grainy image of a grumpy old-time lefty making a toss off a small mound. None of us had a clue. I found a page with a code explaining who everyone on the cover was. The grump in question was a guy named Blaze O'Farrell, who turned out to be a pitcher for the 1944 Philadelphia Blue Jays. "The Blue Jays?" I said. "That's right," Mike's dad said. "The Phils were called the Blue Jays in the 1940s for some reason." "Weird," I said. "Still stunk, though," Mike's dad said. Blaze sure did. The list he was on was the worst ERAs in history. To figure out a pitcher's ERA, or earned run average, you divide the number of runs he gave up by the number of innings pitched. It's a major tool for measuring how good a pitcher is. O'Farrell, it turned out, was not very good. A one-page chapter explained that O'Farrell played in just one game. It was June 15th, 1944. He made the team after a bunch of starting pitchers got sent to fight in World War II. After that one game, he himself got sent to war. He survived the war, the book said, but never pitched again. His whole career was that one bad game. That one very bad game. He got just one out after giving up 7 earned runs in the top of the first. There were other guys on the list who had given up a run without ever getting an out, giving them an ERA of infinity. But no one in all of recorded baseball history had ever given up more runs on fewer outs than Blaze. Most guys have an ERA around 4. Blaze's earned run average was a staggering 189, the worst of all time. Why did they call him Blaze? Other Mike wanted to know. Couldn't have been because of his fastball, I said, thinking about his terrible record. I wonder if he's still alive, Mike asked, and then quickly added, "Nah, he must be dead." If he played ball in 44, he's probably only about 89, Other Mike said. Other Mike liked to do calculations in his head. He didn't even use his fingers, just pointed his blue eyes up to the sky like the answers were written up there. He thought it impressed people, but shockingly, it really didn't ever seem to. "Oh, only 89, Mike scoffed. "Yeah, he's probably still playing ball. He's probably still in the minors, waiting for his call back to the big leagues." "He should get him a letter," I said. "I bet he doesn't get a lot of fan mail." "Especially if he's dead," Mike said. "I'm sure he's alive," Other Mike said, rubbing his hands together. "You know how they say only the good die young? Blaze O'Farrell will probably live to 100. At that, we all cracked up. Other Mike's laugh is like a cross between a car horn and a lawnmower. Mike's dad was laughing too. Even Mike's little sister, Ariana, was laughing, although she probably didn't get the joke. I didn't even notice her come out and flop on the lawn couch. That's how excited I was about the book and the tale of Blaze O'Farrell. "So, Lenny," Mike's dad said, "you gonna go for armchair announcer? When I saw that commercial, I thought of you right away." "I might do it," I said, "but I don't know what I'd talk about in the video." "Of course." My voice cracked as I yelled this last part. Ariana laughed at me, but I didn't care. Mike's dad had just given me a gift even greater than cheese balls. Now I had the perfect moment to recreate for the contest Blaze O'Farrell's short trip to the majors. "Hey, Other Mike," I said, breaking the silence, "can you make a video look like it's 60 years old on your computer?" "Sure," Other Mike said. "I can generate some autograin and add random dust particles and drop the color out to sepia tones." "I have no idea what you're talking about," I said, cutting him off. "But I think I'm onto something." "What?" the mics asked in unison. "Meet first thing tomorrow morning at Other Mike's and we'll totally win that contest," I said. "Totally," Mike said. "Totally," Other Mike said. Totally. I headed back home in time for Norbeck family dinner. Or at least that was the idea. Courtney was gone, which was nice. Mom and Dad were there, eating, technically, but mostly running around the house, shoving pizza in their mouths. Work was theoretically over for the day, but Dad had a meeting at the hospital that evening, and Mom made it clear that she had exciting plans to retreat to her home office and read about ventricles, or whatever she did in there. I grabbed a slice or two for myself and went up to my room, where I usually eat my meals. At least the pizza was good. Pepperoni from Angelo's. I picked off the pieces one by one, announcing the act out loud. It was stupid, but it made me laugh. And Lenny Norbook puts another piece of pepperoni into his mouth. The crowd goes wild. Ah! I can make a really good crowd noise by breathing through my hands in a certain way. It sounds great. Of course, at that moment, Dad looked in and shook his bald head at me. Clearly, I had disappointed him again. Can't you do something productive with your time for once, Lenny? He said. Life is not a baseball game. Shut up, Dad, I thought. I'm going to win this contest. Everyone is going to be in awe of my amazing announcing skills. You'll ask me for my autograph, and I won't even give you one. Maybe life is a baseball game, and maybe I'm about to win it.